Hey guys, so I'm here to do a general love reading. This will be for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements. As always, these readings are general, they're for the collective, so if something doesn't resonate here for you, just leave it for someone who needs to hear it, and remember that there is no gender in Tarot. I'll pull two separate energies in the spread. The first I'll call yours, the second should be your person's, but if they fit better than the opposite, just switch sides. And the same goes for the cross watchers. Make sure to like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. If you need to book a private personal reading or any other information, if you need to book a private personal or any other service, all the information's in the description below and in the pinned section of the comments. That's just where my brain is tonight. We have the energy for Taurus Love, please. Okay. We have, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So your overall energy is the Tower. Aries, Scorpio energy. We have the Hermit, Virgo energy. The Four of Swords. Two of Cups. Temperance, Sagittarius energy. The Magician, Gemini energy. The Knight of Pentacles. The High Priestess, Cancer, Pisces energy. The Ten of Wands. The Four of Pentacles. And at the bottom of the deck we have the Four of Cups. I feel that there's almost this chaotic period of isolation. I say chaotic because it's almost like the isolation is from an event. It's not like really a chosen thing. This is, having to kind of fall back, rest, go within, figure out what's going on here. And I feel like part of it was looking at ourselves in relationships, in situations where, we loved or we felt loved or energy felt reciprocated. Maybe seeing where we went wrong, right? Where I feel like this is chaotic is that it seems like I'm looking at someone who so badly wants something peaceful and harmonious in life. And at the same time, we have this really deep fear of being rejected. And this may be sort of like a trauma response, because rejection's not really a big deal. It's not. Somebody has, we most of life is going to be, especially in romance, is going to be rejecting people. We can't marry everybody, right? It's perfectly okay if you were to be rejected. What I see, though, is almost like a refusal to come out of the shell. There's a response to the fact that there is a problem here and trying to kind of overcome that. The Ten of Wands can be like, we really were working an uphill battle here. But I feel like it's almost like war with oneself. Perhaps we tend to have very chaotic relationships. Whether that's part of who we are, or if it's part of the people that we choose, which still would be essentially on us as well. But I feel this is more of a subconscious thing, where it's almost like this subconscious fear that you'll just be rejected or discarded. But it's a really subconscious, chaotic thing, though. So it's not like, how do I explain? It's an internal thing. It's because we went inward. We probably looked at our own styles here. We're like, oh shit, I'm actually like chaotic in relationships. Like, I feel like, undeserving, maybe unworthy, subservient to partners. So I feel like that you get to this level of chaos with people from feeling like you're being rejected or discarded. And I'm not saying that you're not, but the immensity to that situation. So maybe you feel like nobody will love you how you need to be loved, or perhaps that you're not safe to love, if that makes sense. That somewhere inside of you there's a bit of chaos. And so you sort of hold back now. The problem is, I think that you thought that you would start to kind of dive into this like self-discovery and just sort of easily find balance through self-love, right? And that you would be able to just sort of move on and get into a new chapter in life, and yet you find that somehow this process has been really elongated. We're talking about quite a long period of isolation here. But there's almost not a want to come out of it. I mean, do I even have another energy to pull on? Let's see. So their overall energy is the Hanged Man, Pisces energy. have the Three of Cups, the Page of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, Three of Wands, the King of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands. Excuse me. I feel like whoever this person is, they learned a lesson about taking advice from people. I have the King and the Queen of Pentacles, which is a couple, and then we have this King of Swords, which is this outside energy. But it's more on like a friendly vibe, someone that this person might go to or converse with to sort of maybe get a perspective at times. So it's like a friend that you think would give you good advice, but instead the advice may have confused this person and sort of had them waiting to really reciprocate energy or really get anywhere with this. Now, I don't know who this third party is. I don't know if this is a romantic person or it seems more of a friend. So this is a thing with this person where they're recognizing that the advice they got was because I have a King and a Queen of Pentacles. This is a committed relationship, you know, so there's supposed to be some committed energy to this. And the Swords energy is completely different. This is a more aloof person. This is not someone who's super in touch with their emotions, right? They think of things from an intellectual level only. So it'd kind of be like going to your most detached friend who probably wasn't that interested in relationships and was much more of a thinker than a feeler. That might seem like the person to go to for advice because this person is going to have an intellectual response to it. But you can't intellectualize emotions, so that outsider's view is never going to understand the emotions inside the connection. The problem with this person is that what they may not understand is that there's a specific amount of disloyalty to this. It's interesting because they're kind of looking at this friend from the perspective that this friend may have a different type of ego, but somehow yet this friend was able to speak to them and become a third party in your relationship here. So there was no loyalty to the connection. I don't feel like it's wrong to go talk to a friend about what's going on. But if you aren't intelligent enough on your own to take what the person is saying to you, but kind of also have your own ideas behind this, like I don't have to leave a person because my friend said so. This person seems more on like an immature side where because their friend made it seem like it would okay to, like the advice was just make you wait. Without understanding the confusion that would cause in the situation. So I don't know if this is sort of like, you know when guys have like that single guy friend, that person can be a really bad peer pressure. And because they're single, they'll give advice like this other person should be single. And sometimes somebody who's immature will actually choose that friend and sort of go off with them on their single adventure, and then later this friend gets into a relationship. Now what do you do? I'm not sure that even was the friend's intention. It's sometimes more like an actual conscious thing that this is the single friend. He's probably not going to give you great relationship advice, and I feel like the friend sort of got into a relationship now. Just recognizing that they were unable to think for themselves and allowed somebody else's opinion to help them to destroy their relationship. But unfortunately, the effect for you was feeling rejected. And I feel like somewhere deep in your psyche, that's a huge thing. And maybe we should look into that, but for this person, they lost for stupid reasons, but despite the reason, the effect that it had on you, I feel it's like traumatizing and even forced you into isolation here. Trying to figure out what was wrong with you. So I feel like what the cards are trying to tell you here is that you weren't the problem. Not saying that you're perfect in relationships. You may actually be chaotic in relationships, but this was more so somebody who couldn't separate somebody else's opinion from what they were feeling and what they should be doing. Very immature energy. Okay. So what's coming up that you're unaware of? We have the Two of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, the Chariot, Cancer energy, the Ace of Cups, the Two of Wands, Three of Pentacles, the Three of Swords, the Lovers, which is Gemini energy, the Empress, Libra, Taurus, the Knight of Wands, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Wheel of Fortune, Aries, Scorpio. You're going to have to make a decision here. I feel like you've been able to take back your independence. Like this could have been on your end like a very codependent issue. Especially with like the feeling of like rejection or an abandonment here. You have the opportunity to work things out with this person and get things to change. You want to make the right decision here, and I feel like you do love this person. And there's kind of this want to work it out. So it's sort of like you feel rejected, you go into isolation for a while, and I feel like this person's been gone for a minute. Excuse me. I do want to say that I have every single 3 out here. I feel like there's a real willingness on your part. What happened here is that you may have felt like you need to break free of this and that you would become more independent. And if you became more independent, then you would feel better. That's not what happened. You isolated. So yeah, you're breaking that codependent bond with that person, But there wasn't, sometimes we can't just go into isolation and heal. Sometimes we have some deep-seated stuff that really needs to be looked into. I think you have a big problem with being alone. I don't think it's a little problem. I think it's a big, big problem. And so because it has been a minute and that you've been isolated for a while, and you're almost afraid of something new because it could be rejecting, there is this almost tug of war inside of you on a decision about whether you start over with this person or you start something new. Because I feel like the real want here is to actually be independent. But I feel like that's sort of an issue for you, emotionally. But this person specifically is attempting to work things out, get things to turn back around to the way that they were. But I feel like there were probably, several types of betrayal going on here. And you have this deep subconscious issue. Sometimes with these situations, it is really kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because if we feel chaotic ourselves, so like say every time we get into a relationship it seems very chaotic, but it's also very chaotic to be alone. That's kind of a pattern. So where we had gotten to a point where we were going to stay away from this person despite loving them, we're kind of being drawn back in by them. And it could be workable, but I do want to say, just based off of facts and the cards and the pattern, you do have to keep in mind that this person was easily persuaded to treat someone some type of way. And their form of accountability taking here is not a real form of accountability taking, because it is in the part where I'm taking accountability where I can't not. Obviously, I did force you to wait and hold back energy from you. Almost like game playing. What they do is come around and say, it was just that, John influenced it. It's like, John is single and I asked him for advice and he told me, that, make you wait, see how long you stick around or something like that, John told me to reject you. So I'd be aware kind of that. In the advice, I have the Six of Swords, the King of Wands, and the Emperor, Aries energy. A time for healing, and what do you need to release? Idle hours, take some time to lie on the emerald grass. And woods, be like the woods, calm, soothing, mysterious, and full of life. The cards kind of call you out in a situation here where it's like the missing component to the actual like independence is the actual taking back of control of your own life. Because see, here, you're still not in control, you're in isolation, and that's different. It can be a little simpler, especially if you have chaotic, like, personal relationships, to sort of like just self-isolate, and you may think, hey, I'm getting better because things are more peaceful. But then over a period of time, you haven't left isolation. But also feeling this deep need for connection or a person is constantly giving the control over to another person. So in order to get to this Nine of Pentacles energy that you're desperately trying to get to, which is, you know, being happy alone, not feeling like you have that need for love, but also not feeling like you're unsafe to love, or that it's not safe for you to move forward. It's just that neutral, independent me. So a lot of it is almost releasing that fear of rejection, but also this, what I feel in this top part is almost like a shame or like a guilt for your chaos in these type of situations here. Honestly, if people feel like they really cannot live alone, or that they almost have no order in life without another person, it can be pretty tough. But this, you know, I'm not sure what type of situation this was before, but this is slightly like manipulative and abusive. And I feel like if you're going to deal with those types of people, they're always going to sort of rub this raw part of you that makes you feel rejected or unwanted, unsafe to love. So it's kind of time to learn how to come out of the isolation, you know, so that you can connect to people, but also sort of to not do it back in this chaotic structure. It's time to be calm, soothing, mysterious, and full of life. And I feel like this person represents that for you. All right, that is what I have for you guys, and I'll see you soon.